Joseph Conrad, the writer of Heart of Darkness. One Life and Family. Joseph Conrad, born Josef Theodor Conrad Korsniowskis on December 3, 1857, in Berdychiv, then part of the Russian Empire, now Ukraine, was a Polish-British writer renowned for his exploration of human nature and colonialism. His family background was steeped in political activism and hardship. His father, Apollo Korsniowskis, was a writer and political activist who opposed Russian rule over Poland. As a result, Conrad's family faced persecution, and his father was exiled to Siberia. These early experiences of displacement and suffering deeply influenced Conrad's later works. After the death of his parents when he was still a child, Conrad was raised by his uncle, Tadeusz Bobrowski, who played a crucial role in shaping his future. At the age of 16, he left Poland for Marseille, France, beginning a career as a sailor. He eventually joined the British Merchant Navy, obtaining British citizenship in 1886. His maritime career took him across the world, particularly to Asia and Africa, experiences that would become central to his literary works. Despite his Polish origins, he adopted English as his primary writing language, an extraordinary feat given that he only learned it fluently in his 20s. In 1896, Conrad married Jessie George, a British woman, and they had two sons, Boris and John. While his personal life was often fraught with financial struggles and health issues, Conrad remained dedicated to his craft, producing some of the most enduring works of English literature. Two main works. A deep engagement with themes of imperialism, human nature, and existential crisis marked Joseph Conrad's literary career. His first novel, Almayer's Folly, 1895, set in the Malay archipelago, introduced many of the themes that would define his later works. One of his most famous works, Heart of Darkness, 1899, is a novella that explores European imperialism in Africa through the journey of its protagonist, Marlowe, into the Congo. The novel, inspired by Conrad's own experience traveling in the Congo Free State, critiques the brutality of colonialism and raises existential and moral questions. Other notable works include Lord Jim, 1900, which explores guilt and redemption, Nostromo, 1904, a complex political novel set in a fictional South American country, The Secret Agent, 1907, a precursor to modern spy fiction, and Under Western Eyes, 1911, which delves into Russian revolutionary politics. Conrad's Typhoon, 1902, and The Shadow Line, 1917, reflect his maritime background, capturing the psychological and physical struggles of sailors. His later novels, such as Victory, 1915, and The Rescue, 1920, continued to explore human resilience and moral ambiguity. 3. Controversies. Joseph Conrad's life was filled with remarkable incidents that shaped his career and personal philosophy. One story involves his harrowing journey to the Congo in 1890. As a steamboat captain for a Belgian trading company, Conrad witnessed the horrors of colonial exploitation firsthand. The cruelty he observed left a deep psychological scar, which later found expression in Heart of Darkness. Conrad was also known for his struggles with health and finances. Throughout his life, he suffered from frequent bouts of depression and recurrent illnesses. His financial situation was often precarious, leading him to accept commissions he did not always enjoy. In one instance, he reluctantly co-wrote a novel, The Inheritors, 1901, with Ford Madox Ford, though he later distanced himself from the work. Despite his literary acclaim, Joseph Conrad's works and personal views have been the subject of considerable controversy. One of the most debated issues is his portrayal of race and colonialism in Heart of Darkness. Nigerian writer Chinua Achebe famously criticized the novel, calling Conrad a thoroughgoing racist for his depiction of Africa and its inhabitants. Achebe argued that Heart of Darkness dehumanizes Africans, portraying them as voiceless and primitive in contrast to the European characters. Conversely, many scholars defend Conrad, asserting that Heart of Darkness is not an endorsement of colonialism, but rather a scathing critique of its brutality. The novel's ambiguous moral stance continues to fuel debates in literary and post-colonial studies. Moreover, Conrad's views on politics and society have been scrutinized. Though he was critical of imperialism, he also expressed skepticism toward democracy and socialism. He held a somewhat elitist perspective on governance and human nature. His conservative leanings and sometimes cynical outlook on human progress make him a complex and occasionally contradictory figure in literary history. Despite these controversies, Conrad's influence on literature remains profound. Writers such as T.S. Eliot, George Orwell, and William Faulkner have acknowledged their debt to his narrative style and thematic depth. His exploration of psychological conflict and moral ambiguity continues to resonate with modern readers, cementing his place as one of the most significant novelists of the 20th century. For conclusion, Joseph Conrad's life and works reflect a unique fusion of personal hardship, global experience, and literary brilliance. From his Polish roots and maritime adventures to his groundbreaking novels and enduring controversies, Conrad's legacy is one of complexity and depth. His ability to capture the human condition with nuance ensures that his works remain relevant, challenging readers to confront the moral dilemmas of power, identity, and civilization.